Alrighty, so vocab 4-6, formalizing relations and functions. So here's where we start talking about the patterns. Here's where we start recognizing, the different forms of a line, where we start recognizing what happens when I make certain changes, that kind of thing. Not just the plug and chug stuff we've been doing. Okay, so two terms you want to talk about together always are domain and range. Domain is the possible values for the input of a function or a relation. So what that looks like is, if I have an x and a y, right? Domain are the x's, the ones you pick to put in. So if I have a nice function, let's make an easy one, y equals 3x, and you pick in some stuff you like to use, things that work out easy, right? So I'll make this one short, -1, 0, and 1. Obviously you want more than that if you're going to graph something. But again, your domain then is the x's that you chose to put in. And we'll talk about range on the next slide. So here's range. Range is the output. So, and again, it's as a collective. So we put it in, so y equals 3 times -1, so y equals -3, right? So -3, 0, and +3. So again, to make sure we understand, these right here, these are the domain. All of them put together is the domain. These are the range, the output. So domain and range, again, talk about them hand in hand. So when we put them together as sets, domain and range, we talk about a relation. In this case, it's any set of ordered pairs, x and y, where x is an element, right, we've seen that before, of the domain, and y is an element of the range. That's that funky E, is an element of. Kind of looks like the subset, that we had talked about before when we did sets in our last section. Alrighty, so what that means here then is when I look at this right here, the ones that go hand in hand together, right? So -1, 3, that's a relation, right? 0, 0, that's a relation. 1, 3, that's a relation. So we put them together in their sets, domain and range. Alrighty, so the vertical line test. If a vertical line passes through a graph more than once, the graph is not the graph of a function. Vertical line, remember, is a line that goes up and down, straight up and down, right? So, and I can put them through anywhere I want to. So in this case, I put vertical lines through this thing, testing it. They should be straighter than that, right? And it only goes through one place. It's a function. Even here, again, only goes through one place. It's a function. If I hit more than one, taking a vertical line, right? Not a function. So this one right here, not a function. This function, this is a function. Alrighty, so function notation. More terms that kind of just sound crazy, right? To write a rule in function notation, replace y with f of x. If you have more than one, you can call them g of x or h of x, right? But again, it's that x in there. So here's the idea. The one we talked about earlier, y equals 3x. You would rewrite as f of x equals 3x. Again, it's just the way it's made a function of x where you multiply 3 times x. If I had more than one in a set, which we will do later, and I think your test has one, I might say g of x, right? So if I had a second one, or you do h of x and keep going with letters. But in this case, we'll call it f of x. All right, so that's last year vocab for 4-6. Reading got it slide will also be here in Schoology for you.